which is the European Reaches Provisional Agreements on the antitrust law targeting tech giants. So this is something that has been long in the making in the EU. And this article here is from Engadget, and for those listening. And this law, if it comes to pass, will regulate basically the interoperability of platforms in our modern digital economy. So Apple and Google would be forced to allow additional app stores on their on their platforms. They would be forced to allow other payment methods than their own in apps. And another big thing, that's why also the WhatsApp logo is here on the article, is there is a proposal to also put in regulation that instant messengers should be interoperable. So if you are using WhatsApp and let's say I am not using WhatsApp for whatever reasons, so I'm just using Threema or Telegram or Signal or even iMessage, which is prime example because it's the most closed off messaging system. Then if we are not on the same messenger, we cannot communicate with each other. And with this law, this base interoperability, so that you can at least send a text message from, let's say, Threema to WhatsApp, and from WhatsApp to Signal, and from Signal to Telegram, or from Telegram to iMessage, that is what they intend to force the industry to provide. And overall, this is a good thing that is happening here. A lot of people are saying, this is now regulating again. But the problem is platforms controlled by big companies are not open. And as we have seen in the past few years, more and more control over our devices is taken over by those companies. Apple always was very close with their systems and had the tight control over it, especially for the, I just call it iDevices, so iPhone, iPad, iPod, Apple TV, Apple Watch. So that's the closest they have control on. And in the recent years also Mac, but there they had to backpedal simply because it's a desktop. And people don't want to treat their desktop like they treat their iPhone. And I think that's also one of the big things why Apple is not intermingling iPad OS and Mac OS. So yeah, and if this comes to pass, it will benefit us all, because even if you're not using another service, like for example on Android, then the Amazon app marketplace, which already exists, or others, even if you're not doing that, by just having the opportunity and forcing those manufacturers to provide these abilities, you are basically forcing those companies to compete on an open market, which overall benefits us consumers. And yeah, so there is also a parallel law in the making that regulates a lot more than this. And yeah, we have to see and wait if it passes. A lot of information are still unclear. And yeah, I am looking forward to what is coming out of this legislation. As you can read here in the article, of course, Apple is not very happy about that. Where is the statement? I'll try to highlight it. In the statement, an Apple spokesman said the company was concerned about some aspects of the law. We remain concerned that some provisions of the DMA will create unnecessary privacy and security vulnerabilities for our users, while others will prohibit us from charging for intellectual property in which we invest a great deal. The spokesperson said, "We believe deeply in competition and in creating thriving competitive markets around the world, and we will continue to work with stakeholders throughout Europe in that hopes of mitigating these vulnerabilities." And this is a lame excuse, Apple, definitely. Of course, you can maximize profits by controlling your market, which is what they are doing. And I discussed this in earlier episodes as well, that I am fine with them regulating access to mobile devices like the iPhone, because this is a product which is a everyday use item and that you carry with yourself, and you are in a position where you have to use this device for emergency calls. And if you install software which prohibits you from doing that emergency call, that could cost lives. That's not the case with an iPad. That's not the case with a Mac, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So what the legislation here has to do is a real hard balancing act, because in some ways Apple is right, some ways they are not. But overall, opening the platform to different markets, to different other stores, is a good thing. But those platform providers have to be able to provide guidelines to those other stores. That's something that is important, because if everyone just starts doing whatever they want on those devices, especially on your phones, that's getting dangerous. And it might not be immediately obvious, but it's a phone. That's its primary use case. And if you can't make an emergency call because you installed App Store XYZ and it installs crap on your device that you A, don't want, and B, that breaks core functionality of your device, that's just bad. And that should not happen. So there has to be a bit or a measure of control still remaining by the platform provider to ensure that stuff like that does not happen. Yeah. And other talks were, for example, also on exactly those things that you have to be able to remove bundled software and basically all the standard stuff that you have to deal with modern devices, because they are those companies are selling pre-installed software to other companies in order to basically make extra profits from their device sales. Yeah, but that's this topic, and we will definitely have to follow this and see how this is going to develop.